Hey, hubby, what you doing?
Oh, howdy. I'm actually doing the finish work on the Mare's leg holster and belts. This is where I put on a finish that gives it that luster look, and when the customer gets it, goes, "Wow, quality," or crap, however they vision it. No, just joking. I like to use a Phoebe's leather balm. That's what I prefer to use. You can see here, there's a thing of it right there. That's one of my favorite, because the finish when it comes out, when the finish comes out, it's silky and it's really nice to the touch, and you can buff it out with a nice big brush. I've got special brushes over here that I keep down here, and depending on the color I have my neutral brown brush and my black brush here. And after you're all done, you can buff it all out after it's dry, and a couple hours out to it. Gives a really good finish and appearance. But sometimes I use a tan coat from Phoebe's. It's more of a plastic coating than a wax coating. It's really good on outdoor stuff. I find that in the saddle industry, when I'm making saddle tack and stuff, a lot of people like that because it has more sheen to it and more bling. So it's shiny and it's like shiny toys. Silver, and you can have the worst product in the world, place a bunch of silver on it and glare, and everybody buys it and thinks it's great. But the meat of the core of any leather project is its durability under pressure when you need it. And that's what we stand behind on our products here in Beaver Mountain Works, and our sister saddlery shop, Leathermar Saddlery. We just want to have something that's practical and feasible and functional. Once I've done the edges and everything, I just run my fingers over the edges in there, kind of gets them smoothed out. Some people use rags, and some people would tell you, "Oh, you've got to use a bone or a slicker," and there's all these different tools you use. I myself, I have an assortment of things I use. I've got a slicker like this one here, and it's out of wood, and this one here. I use it in certain areas, and depends on the product I'm doing. If I'm doing a knife sheath or something, it's a nice wide area, I'll take that. I have a bone one as well that I keep in my kit that I normally take when I go out and about, and people say, "Hey, can you fix this?" You run it back and forth, and it will smooth out the edge. But for the Mare's leg holster and the belt, using your fingers or using a piece of cloth will smooth it out fairly nice, because I bevel both edges, as you saw in other videos. The other thing you may notice that I talk about using a piece of old glass or a piece of glass, tempered glass, as your base point instead of for using paper or other types of materials as your base to do your work off of with liquids. I find that A, it's really easy to clean up if you have a little bit of spillage, and B, you get no transfer from that product. Like if you were using a piece of newspaper, that it can bleed the ink in that into your actual product because of the different chemicals that are inside the finishes or the dyes. I also try to eliminate the amount that I lose by using a piece of component, like here I'm using the back of the belt, or I'll use the inside portion of the holster, and I'll lay it out so that when I'm in between, normally if you're going this way, you're losing product in between here, and it's falling out and it's getting everywhere. Instead of for wasting it, I do it this way, and the extra spillage will drop down onto the actual piece of holster or belt that I have below. And you see a little bit gets on there, that's fine, it just blends in and continues on. I do the same thing when I'm doing, if you look over here, these are the, they're already finished. These are for the loops for on the belt. And I'll do those also in the same area, so that way I don't get a lot of mess. Keeps a good, clean, neat area, even though I have a very messy shop, but I do know where everything is. That's the important thing, right? Other than that, the only other thing that I can give you as a quick tip today is I always try to go with my lighter colors first and work up to my blacks. So if there's any kind of bleed over into the material, which you always get some form of it, I'm not washing the brush all the time. I let the natural forms of the finish come forth, and so I'll go from the lighter to the dark to make sure I don't have too much bleed over. And everybody likes the way the accent shows. It gives more an authentic look than anything. Not that artificial finished look. Like if you were to look at an artificially finished product, there's an artificially finished product. It all looks uniformly just perfect, like it came off a factory. This one here has been used a bit, but you can still see that luster on there. Versus how the appearance that I like to give out on my product. If you want more of this, subscribe to our channel. And please go check out beavermountainworks.com. Look at our products, and we'd really love it if you sign up for our newsletter. Take care.